afternoon, Elements members. This is Coach Beth coming at you for Senior Fit. Today's Thursday, 3 o'clock. I understand some people have been calling the club over there on Oakway and inquiring about class. If you know of someone who wants to participate in Senior Fit without having to go, I'm gonna make sure there we go. Sorry, I just wanted to get my microphone going for you. Like I said, if you know someone who wants to participate in Senior Fit but doesn't want to go to the club to do it, this is the place to do it. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 o'clock with me. I think this is the only class that's online right now for Elements. So lucky you, lucky me. Today we're doing Senior Fit and we're going to be pretty much working just with our water bottle or something like it, the equivalent. I've got my big tall water bottle here that's filled with water, so it weighs something. Ultimately it'll weigh less at the end, but I want to welcome you. You're also going to be wanting to bring a chair along. So my chair is this little stool here. An armless chair is ideal, this little guy here. Okay, armless chair should have a back. A back is helpful. And I'm going to be modifying any, I'm hoping that I can, nope, I'm not going to be able to block that sun. I'm going to have to rearrange for 1 second because of that sunshine. Hang on 1 minute. And I'm going to move over here. You can see my junky corner of all my my Pilates props, but it can't be helped for now. It's chilly today, so I'm inside. And I hope you can see enough of me and enough of my feet there to make that work. I'm going to be a little bit hemmed in for space, but we'll make it work. Alrighty, so thank you so much for joining me today. Close that up. And let's just start seated. We're going to stretch our neck a little bit this afternoon. I had a client earlier who was complaining about her neck, and I thought, oh, this might be a really good time to unhinge all that. There's a lot going on out there in our lives. And some of us more than others, but a lot of us, you know, we're concerned about a lot of different things these days. So glad you came to join me, whether it's 3 o'clock on the dot or maybe another time of day. It's important to decompress, take care of yourself. And part of taking care of yourself is to tune out for a while. Just let go of the news, let go of your worries, let go of things that are making you anxious. And sometimes when we shift our focus into other things, then we forget about even being anxious or fearful or concerned or overwhelmed or whatever it is you're feeling. Tired, sometimes it's tired, and sometimes when we're tired, the last thing we want to do is exercise, but I'll tell you what, it can turn that around. It can turn your energy around. Well, it will turn your energy around. So I encourage you to, when things do get heavy or overwhelming, to stop for a minute, do something intentional, like breathing or moving, and hopefully that will give you a little bit more energy. It'll give you a little break at least from what is on your mind. Sorry, just a little bit OCD, not diagnosed, but I like those lines to be straight so that your orientation is accurate. Let's go ahead and start with a few deep breaths. You're gonna wrap your hands around your ribs right here. For ladies, that's right at the bra line, right where the strap is. And just wrap your hands around, and especially where your back, your thumbs are, and the back ribs, and then around the sides of the rib cage. That's what we want to feel change and expand and grow when you inhale. So fill up the lungs. Just focus on taking a deep breath. Can't help but expand there, right? That's physically what has to happen. And then exhale. Feel it decompress as though your rib cage is funneling down and in towards the waist. And again, inhale, expand. Exhale, funnel down and in. Again, expand. exhale, funnel down and in. At the same time as we do this deep breathing, I want you to start to pay attention to, inhale, to the parts of the body where we tend to hang on. Hang on whether it's because of stress or hang on because we're imbalanced or unstable physically. Is it the shoulders, the feet, the eyes? Take another deep breath in. And exhale, soften down and in. Good. Okay, so let's talk about the neck for a minute. We're just going to start with arms resting on your lap. Let's tip your right ear towards your right shoulder. And now I have the benefit of seeing my reflection in the phone, but if you can get a sense of your shoulders being level, here often if the neck is tight, this kind of wants to go along for the ride. I don't want that to go along for the ride, so I'm going to keep that shoulder down intentionally, maybe even energize it down, or even hold it down with your opposite hand. That works nicely. Now, we're being really careful not to overstretch, meaning I'm not trying to fold my neck in half. I am thinking about lifting up and then maybe a little arc over. Now what I'm going to do is just drop my right chin down towards my right collarbone and hold that there for a moment or two. Deep breathing again. Become aware of where that's tightest. If it's too tight or you have to hold your breath because it's painful, then back off on that stretch until it feels like that's manageable, that you can hold that for a few breaths and it will begin to release and let go and get longer. One more deep breath. And exhale. Okay. We're going to look straight ahead again. We're still tilted over to the right. Maybe that stretch feels a little bit better, and it does on me. And then correct your head position back up to the top. Let's try the other side, left ear to left shoulder. Now, I'm not spending as much time on this just because you could spend 5 minutes on each side of the neck, and that would be fantastic. But we don't have that kind of time. You might later on. You might, when you're feeling stressed, just before bedtime, not that you're stressed before bedtime, but that might be a good time to spend releasing your neck. And I want to sense that my shoulders are level. Okay, and then I'm also reaching up, not only from the neck and head up, but from the pelvis, and I'm reaching the spinal line up first, and then over. If I were to follow that spinal line from the neck and head up, and my arm were to follow, okay, it's just going to arc like this. Just very subtle, but upwards, always upwards. The other thing that can possibly happen is that this hip wants to lift. If you're good and disciplined with the shoulder, the hip might not be as aware, so keep everything level. Now we're going to bring that left chin or jawbone down towards the left collarbone. And hold that there. Just let your arms and shoulders be very heavy here. We don't want to cinch them up or become tight there. And when I look forward, I still have space between my chin and chest, but I'm just looking down about a foot in front of my feet on the floor. Just look in a natural place where your neck is still stretching but comfortable. And that makes me yawn. And you're going to feel that stretch more posteriorly here on the scalenes, that posterior attachment. Right there, that is crazy tight. You could palpate that. You could push and rub it a little bit very gently if that helps you kind of become aware of what you're stretching, as well as get it to mobilize and massage it. Oh my gosh. I need to make an appointment. So pick up your chin and then lift your head up to center. Okay. Now, very carefully, we're going to just turn the head to the right and left a few times and see if we got a little more distance out of that nice stretch that we worked on. And there's one more neck mobilizer that I want to work on with you today. And this is one of my favorites. So we just stretched the middle and the posterior scalenes. Now we're going to stretch the anterior right there, because many of us work head forward nowadays, right? I'm going to turn to the side so you can see, and I know you've seen it, where the head is forward, and maybe we're down here looking at a screen or looking at a keyboard, right? Or we just can't quite see it well enough, so we slouch. And so these become overstretched, and they become tired and fatigued and weak as a result. So what we're going to do is stretch those out and see if that doesn't make a difference in terms of you staying more aligned, as well as keeping the head back, right, into a nice natural posture, and we're not rearranging our neck and spine over time. Take your right hand, here's your index finger, you're going to put it right below your left collarbone, so crossing over your heart here, all right? Now you're going to put your left hand on top of your right hand and kind of push the hands into the chest and a little tug down. What you're doing is just anchoring the insertion of the scalene, right? It's attached to those top couple of ribs. Now what you're going to do is turn your head to the right. Now, it might already get tight just by turning the head. If it is, just stop there and take a deep breath. Let that minimize a little bit. And then we're going to glance our left cheek up to the sky, as if we were trying to get the sun to aim down on our cheek. Okay, and that should really start this muscle right below the ear, coming down through the front of the neck and then down to right where my hands are. So I'm hoping you're feeling that. Now don't push too hard on this muscular insertion here on your chest, because then your shoulders get tense and your hands get tired. And it doesn't have to be that strong. It's just enough to kind of give you some awareness. And then maybe a little pull down on that end of the muscle. I do feel that up in my ear in a good way, a stretching way. I don't want this to burn. I don't want it to become stiff on the opposite side of the neck. I want the whole neck to be just really easily moving into a stretch, holding where you can tolerate and breathe. Let's do one more. Sit up nice and straight and tall. I kind of lost my posture there for a moment. Your hips, your ribs, and your shoulders are all still level and aligned. Now I'm going to bring my head back upright. No more glancing up into the sun. And then turn forward to correct it. Let's try the other side. Left index finger right under the right collarbone, right underneath there. And then push in with your other hand. Turn your head to the left. And then glance that jawbone right there, or your cheek, up to the sky to get the sun to hit your cheek. Now that feels a little bit weird on the left side. It's a little bit too much, so I'm going to back off a little bit and maybe push down here on my chest a bit more. And then breathe with that. So we're pulling from up above, but we're also pulling from down below. That should give you a nice balanced stretch. Now my right hand got a little tired, so I made a soft fist and then pushed my hand into the other hand. That might feel a little bit better. Breathing. Now we're starting to let go. Okay, I'm going to recorrect my neck posture, let go of my muscle here on the chest, and then turn to center. Now let's relax the arms and shoulders again. Wiggle around a little bit if you got a little chilly, and then turn your head right and left, and see if you can sense that you got a little more range. Okay, and then let's try a little bit of flexion extension. So flexing the neck, but pulling the back of the head up, instead of just dropping the head forward. And then you're going to pick up the chin and look up at the ceiling very slowly, as long as there's no impingements, no popping, no cracking, and then nod forward. Very carefully, very slow. Don't add a lot of tension or weight to that. And then pick up the chin again and look up. Kind of want to visualize our head being like a ball in water. You're just rolling it. It's smooth. There's no stoppage. There's no popping or pain. And we're going to do one more, bringing the chin down, but back. And then the chin up and forward. Not too far, not exaggerated. Right there. Hard to talk in that position. Right about there. Okay, really good job. I want you to reach your arms out in front, thumbs up, flip your thumbs down, and cross your right hand over your left. So now the palms are together and the thumbs are down. All right, set your shoulders on your body, and then just reach your fingertips towards me. I'm going to reach mine towards you, and then relax that. Shoulders glide back and down. As you reach forward, the shoulder blades may rise just a smidge, just barely, not even detected, but just a small amount forward and a small amount back, small amount forward and back. Just looking at my reflection there, I'm trying to line up my bones, my shoulders, my ribs, and my hips, but my flooring is not even, so that's a little tricky. I'm a little bit hypersensitive about people working on even surfaces. It's important. This mat underneath me is about a half an inch on the floor, it's half an inch thick, and that can make a lot of difference when you're talking about alignment. Okay, you feeling those shoulder blades? Yes, I thought so. Okay, let's undo that and then just swing the arms, just run them out. So that side we did right over left. We've got to do it the other way to find symmetry and balance. The dog wants out, but I'm not going to let him out right now. Just going to stick here with you. All right, feeling your hips very anchored on the chair. Now we're going to reach forward, thumbs up, flip the thumbs down, take the left over the right palms together. All right, now if this is uncomfortable, feel free to modify it in any way. Maybe this is better for you, no crossing over. But I really want to make sure that this doesn't happen with my shoulders when I reach, okay? And then my spine just caved also. So I'm going to slide those shoulders down, lift the ribs so they're level over my hips. And now let's slide the shoulders forward and bring them back to neutral. Slide them forward, stretching out those rotator cuffs. Those upper traps get a little bit of energy there too. Stretching and back. Two more. Forward and back. Only stretching to where it's tight and comfortably so. Not overstretch, not painful, not shocking. And relax. And swing, swing, swing. 4 and 3. Keep running. 2 and 1 and relax. Really good job. Arms hanging down low by your sides, and I just want to go ahead and turn the arms little small rotations, external, internal, thumbs out, thumbs in, thumbs out, thumbs in, okay? Keep going with that, no particular rhythm. Not using music these days because Facebook tends to shut it down. So I've got to go to slightly greater lengths to find music that I guess where the licensing is different. Now we're going to bring those arms out in front. But I kind of like this because I don't have to talk over the music. You can focus a little bit more on my words and cueing. Let's bring the arms down and down and down and down. Now coming up and up, up, and bring it down. I'm only taking my hands about shoulder height here. Okay, and up, and up, and up, and up, and then back down, and down, and down, and down. Right there, good. Roll those shoulders out a little bit. Time to get going on the legs. So we're going to stretch them out. Let's go ahead and swing the arms. Make sure you're not running into anything. We're going to stand up after 5 more swings. 4, so you're standing up on 0. 2, 1, and up. All right, woo, that feels better already. So sitting too long, we know that's sitting is the new smoking, right? So shutting all this down, what it does is it tightens that whole anterior. Are we there? Okay, good. Sorry about that. Phone call and I had to cancel it and okay, there we are. So back to the psoas, right here in the front. These muscles, well there is a particular, the psoas, wraps into the pelvis and then connects and attaches up into the lumbar spine. So if you have low back tension, it might be because you're sitting too much. We want to stretch that out a little bit. So what we're going to do is utilize our chair here. I'm trying to find a level place for it. I'm going to put my chair up here. Okay, there. Now what I'm going to do, and you can use another surface. If you've got a chair back here, use that. But put your knee, I'm going to put my left knee and shin up on that chair. And then I'm going to slide it back until that knee is right underneath my hip. Okay? Now, right now as it is, I'm on my tippy toes on my right foot. That is not ideal. Let's change that. Okay, let's go without that cushion. That's better. Now I'm balanced. Everything is level. My hips are level, ribs, shoulders. And I'm on that knee. Okay, if you need a little small, little thin cushion under the knee, go for it. But what I want to do is sit back as if I'm squatting or sitting back on that heel. You can hold on to your chair back. You know, a good place would be if your chair back were here. And then rise back up. I'm going to just pretend that I've got a chair back right here in front of me. I'm going to use this tower pole instead. Now I'm going to squeeze my hips forward, and as I do that, I want to find a nice stretch down that thigh. You're going to sit back and forward, straight up and down. Don't press the hips forward at this point. I just want to stack straight up, shoulder over rib, over hip, over knee. Sitting back, standing up. Can you see my right foot? It's just flat on the floor. And what I'm basically doing is just balancing on the knee and foot evenly and squeeze. Now what I'm going to do is step forward with my right foot. Now you can see it hopefully on the floor right there. And then I'm going to leave that. Oh, this isn't going to work. We're going to have to do this differently. Very sorry. So what we're going to do here, we've done this stretch before. Still going to stretch the left side. This is the front of your chair. This is the back of your chair. Step your right foot in front, your left foot behind, still stretching the left hip flexor. I want you to sit your right hip down on the chair. Make sure you've got balance. You're not going to fall off. Okay, and then that left knee is either just behind the hip, okay, moving back, depending on how tight you are. Or you can slide it in right underneath the hip. And that is a good deal of stretch for me. I don't want to overstretch and find myself doing this with my back and arching here. I want to pull that back, pull the belly back, stack it up, squeeze your bum. Woo, there's a nice energy coming down that hip and thigh. There's a nice hip flexor stretch. One more deep breath. Hold on to the back of your chair and help yourself up to standing. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. First we'll start with that standing squat. I'm going to cushion up my chair like so. I'm right in front of the chair back. Here's the chair back. I've got one knee on the chair, one foot on the floor. This is where we do that squat, okay? And then coming up, squeeze. Sit back and squeeze. I did this the other way, the wrong way. Okay, I rearrange the room and I get lost. Hips back, there we go. Stand up. Sit back. As I sit back, my hips are level. That means the distance between my ribs and hips stays the same on both sides of the body, right and left. The chest stays upright and proud. Keep it shining forward so that when you sit back, you can see straight in front of you. Sitting back and stand up. Squeeze. Sit back. Stand up. This is a nice one-legged squat. You don't have to go as far as I am. What I'm after here is that right hip stretch, hip and thigh stretch. So now just stand here, balanced on your foot and your knee. Find level. Squeeze that right glute. Give yourself that extra stretch. All right. Now we're going to keep stretching that right hip flexor. Step away from your chair. Okay, and now we're going to turn around. And I want you to organize yourself so that your chair back is at your left hand. Okay, your left foot goes in front, your right foot goes behind. Sit your left hip down on the chair. Your right leg is behind you, okay? And we're gonna tilt that pelvis, aim the knee down, chest is proud. Lengthen and lift. And breathe. Here you go, squeezing that glute with a little extra energy, pressing it forward. Those toes are really pushing into the floor. I want to be able to breathe one more time. And help yourself out. Right there, good work. Shake that out a little bit. And let's have a drink of water. Have a drink of water. Okay. I'll be right back with you. Do not leave, okay? Hang on one second. Okay, back. Sorry about that. I had to take care of a quick message. All right, there we are. Now you got your drink of water. Have a seat. And we're going to work on the shoulders again, just for a little bit. Okay, sitting on the front edge of your chair, make sure those sits bones are still on the chair. And what we're going to do, gosh, I can't get organized because I'm used to straddling the corner. But I'm going to hold the bottle in my right hand, all right? And what I'm going to do is lower the arm, bring it down, and then press my body up with my left arm and switch hands. Reach the bottle towards the floor, come on up. Reach the bottle down and come up. Now as I hinge forward, my spine stays straight. Okay, let me show you from an angle. I'm going to lower the bottle down, the spine is long and strong, and push up with your arm. And bring it down and push up. We're going to move deliberately with a little bit of tempo here. Hinge. Now if the level change going down and up, or up and down, makes you dizzy, then slow it down. Breathe intentionally. And down. And push. And bend. And extend the arm. And bend. And lift. Switching hands every time. Keep the abs drawn back toward your spine. Belly button to waistband. 3 more. 2, 1. Right there. Good, okay, awesome job. Now, right hand's gonna hold that bottle, you're gonna curl it up halfway, flip the palm up, rotate it out. 3 pulses, 2, 1, tip it up, bring it in, lower down. So it's curl, open, rotate, 1, 2, 3, rotate, in, lower, down. It's up and open and around, and 3, 2, 1, and I think I messed up your sequence, there it is, and now down, there we go, straight up, palm up, rotate, 3, 2, 1, bring it in, tip it up and lower down. Good, we have 5 more up. Rotate and out, 3, 2, 1, bring it in, rotate up and lower down. Awesome, up. I'm gonna start speaking in tempo here. That's annoying. 2, 3, bring it in and up, lower down. I'm thinking 3 more. Rotate, out, 3, 3, 2, 1. Rotate in. Now that rotation is not huge. Remember, we don't want to overstretch the rotator cuff, but we want to move it enough. 2 and 1, so that we really do use the rotator cuff, the more intrinsic muscles there of the shoulder. This is not a lot of work for the bigger muscles. It shouldn't be. We don't want them to take over. Bring it in, tip it up, lower down. Last one, stay tall, sit tall and open, pulse it. 3 and 2 and 1. Rotate in, tip it up and bring it down to the other side. You're gonna bring it right in through the center, grip, lower down. And here we go, left side, up, tip it open, out to the side. There's 3 and 2 and 1. Bring it in, tip it up and lower down. Let's go up and open. And 3, 2, a little bit of bicep work, not a ton. It's more for the rotator cuff. So less is more. Smaller range, please. Less weight. Yeah, we're having to balance that bottle because there's water inside there. Bring it in, keep it level and down. 6 more. Palm up, open it up for 3. No further than 45 degrees. I don't care if you're hypermobile. I want you to stop at 45, okay? If your joints are aligned, your bones are all aligned, 45 is plenty. 2, my elbow is not jammed into my side, by the way. When I do that, I want to keep a little bit of space, maybe a hand thickness. Elbow away from my waist. 3 and in, tip it up, lower it down. Here we go, it's curl and open. 3 pulses, 2, 1. Breathe, bring it up. We're almost there, 3 more. Out, 1, 2, 3. Bring it in, tip it up and lower. Good. Up. Balance that water. Out. 3. Looking out at your horizon. Good. Bring it in. Whoops, I almost tipped it up too early. 1 more time. It's curl. Open and rotate. 3 pulses. 2, 1. Swing it in, tip it up. Lower down. Straight arm forward. Reach with the left. Bring both down. Let's do it again. Up, switching hands. Bring it down. Now, when you reach that water bottle out in front of you, keep the body stock still. Don't lean back. Don't lean forward. Just keep it upright and strong. Only thing moving here are the arms, and we're breathing. Now, feel free to add an extra swing back, a little bit of a reach, but not so far that you drop the chest forward, okay? Keep your body here. Only move the arms back in so far as you can. Keep the chest open. Reach it back, and I don't want the shoulder blades to rise up behind me either. So control, down and pick it up. Control, down. Down is the accent, not back. Down, stretch down through the fingertips, bring it up. Stretch down and up. Reach down. Now, this doesn't have to be a water bottle. This could be, oh golly, a can of soup. Just make sure you've got a confident grip on it before you let go with the other hand. I don't want you to drop this on your toes. No higher than chest high here. And up, don't throw it to the other hand. Just hand it over, get a good grip, and lower down. We're gonna do 4 more. Anybody feeling the fronts of their shoulders now? 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful job. Take a drink out of that water bottle and we'll move to the legs again. Okay. Go ahead and talk about calves, and then we'll move into some upper leg work. So, for calves, I want you to stand behind your chair. I'm going to pretend, you know what, I'm going to use this as my chair. This is my reformer tower. It's a little high, but you know what, I'm tall, so it's going to work for me. If this is your chair back, hold on to it. Yours is probably more down here, and that's fine. Either way, it's just something to stabilize with. And our feet are below us in parallel, right below the sits bones. There's probably about a fist distance between your knees and ankles. Let's keep that there. All right? Be careful that you're not locking your knees. Keep them gently softened, and you're just going to press up. Now stay here. Push down on that chair back. You're only pushing as far as you can begin to cue and light up your abs. Okay? So pushing down, and then release that pressure and lower the heels back down. First, press into the feet. Then push down into the chair. Then relax that chair press and lower the heels. Lift the heels. Push into the chair back. Release that tension and lower down. And again, press the heels up. Push down into the chair. Release that tension and lower the heels. And again, lift nice and square. And press into the chair. I want to make sure my ankles don't break out when I raise my heels. All right, so don't push too high or we begin to supinate, and that can compromise the ankles, okay, which is not good for your ankles, but also it creates imbalance in our strength routine. So we want to feel like we're really squarely lifting. Push down into the chair back. Right there, that's where I'm feeling that. Relax that press and lower down. 2 more, lift the heels. Push into the chair. Feel how that also bolsters your posture. Relax and lower. 1 more time, lift the heels. Push. So if you're a climber, a hiker, stair climber, whatever you do, this is really good stuff for that. All right, shake those legs out for a second. You can hold on to the back of your chair here, and we're just going to rotate those ankles really deliberately and slowly. Now I'm rolling all the way up onto the tippy toe of my shoe. It's a good day to have good shoes on. Circle that around. And then go the other way. That was about 5. So we'll do 5 circles this way. 2. See if you can hit every angle, pain-free, but get a stretch everywhere. 1 more, and around. All right, beautiful. Let's do the other side. Just start either direction, 5 circles. 2, 3. Let that leg just go where it needs to go in order to accommodate the ankle. 4, and 5. Let's go the other direction. My neck still feels pretty great. I hope yours does too. Telling you what, today is a good scarf day, or shrug, or a shawl, something. Oh my gosh, it was cold. I'm not ready for that. 1 more. Okay, awesome. Now, same deal. Hands on the chair back. This time we're going to rotate the legs into external rotation. When you rotate your legs, I want that rotation to come from your thigh bone. So turn your thigh bone out. I'm going to turn to face you and show you what I mean. Just turn that thigh bone. Now look what happens to your foot and knee. They turn out, okay? Rather than initiating this with the foot, okay, we're missing out on the deliberateness and the feeling of the hip rotating. It may do that for you, and that's awesome. But I really want you to mentally start from here. I'm getting that thigh bone out, and wow, voila, look, the knee and the toes are pointed out. So face your chair back again, and let's try that with both legs. Wrapping. By wrapping, we're going to intentionally activate those hip rotators right there, the back corners, lower back corners of your hips. And I've got, oh golly, 4 inches between my heels down there, so there's a little space, a little gap. Okay, and then we're going to press down into the chair back. We're going to rise up onto the toes again, but this time I want you to push down into the chair back whilst lifting the heels up. Okay, so we hit those 2 gestures at the same time, and then inhale, stay tall, press, When you lower the heels, be careful to gently lower them down. I call that the lunar landing. Softly landing, not to rest, but to turn around and come right back up. And lower down, and lift the heels up, and lower down. Check in with your knees, make sure that they're not locked. Make sure they're still turned out the same direction as your toes, and consequently, as a consequence, I should say, of those thigh bones being turned out. 3, and 2. Look straight at your horizon. And 1. And rest. Okay, we're shaking that out a little bit. I'm going to face you again. You can hold on to that chair back at an angle so you can see, or whatever is comfortable for you. We're just going to twist the leg that is farthest from the chair back. Okay, so I'm holding onto the chair back with my right hand. I could let go if I wanted to and just put my hands on my hips. I'm just twisting that left thigh bone in and out, and in and out. Okay? Mentally, I'm moving the thigh bone from way up here at the hip. I don't care where my knee and toes go. I'd like them to follow. I'm just pivoting, but here is really where I'm thinking. At the joint. If you can visualize the head of your femur bone, just kind of scouring out that joint. Ideally, that's pain-free. It's click-free or popping-free. There's no interference going on there or impingements. Let's go to the other side. Shaking that balanced foot out, of course. And now let's go ahead and twist the other thigh. Mobility is just as important as getting that strength work in. Strength work is really, really important as we age. But the mobility will improve the strength capacity. It'll improve your potential, in other words. Ooh, I'm getting a little bit of a pop there, so I'm going to slow down and see what's going on in there. Maybe modify my range. Don't try to force that into a place where it's going to pop. So what I need to do, because it's popping, is start to mentally relax the muscles and the tendons that surround that joint. Undoubtedly, one's just kind of crossing over a bone and giving me that little snap. Now it's gone. Awesome. Also, we engage the core so that this can let go. Use your core as your strength. Use it as your balance. Use it as your breath. Oh, darn it, I found one last pop. Urgh. Shake it out. Okay. You know, and I know, that we've got to work those legs a little bit more in squat, because I believe the squat is a really functional exercise. Be hard-pressed to find any good trainer that won't agree with that. Okay, squat is functional. We all need to be able to do it. We've all read those articles about those cultures of longevity, those cultures that people live to be old and happy and feel good old. And many of those cultures squat all day, every day. So here we are. We sit too much. Squatting is an active thing. It incorporates everything about the body. So your hips are over your chair. I'd like you to straddle that corner. The corner is right there between my feet. Make sure your chair is underneath you, just to make sure. But the squat ultimately sends the hips back as far as they can go while keeping the chest facing forward. I'm looking at you, you're looking at me, and then we'll stand back up. So that's a nice squat right there. Start smaller if that's too difficult or if it hurts your joints. We do need to lubricate those joints, so ultimately I want to be able to do a squat that is about chair height. I mean, that is barring any permanent or chronic issues that we might be living with, right? That could be a back thing, a knee thing, a joint thing. But I'd love for you to be able to squat all the way down to the floor. But, not our culture. We're gonna go ahead and squat in a functional way that works for us. I will tell you that the deeper the squat, the more muscle you use. All right, so, and I'm talking about variety of muscles. 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to do one from the side so you can see where my hips are going. They're going back over the chair, the spine stays long and supported, and stand up. If you want to modify that squat so as to keep the spine correct, right there, that's plenty, okay? That's a good starting point. Always begin at the beginning. That makes a whole lot of sense, but if you begin at the beginning and work in good lines and form until you can progress, you're that much further ahead. Pardon that angle there. We're going to do 2 more. I think my point about the beginning is that we all start at the beginning and we have to build strength there before we can progress. So, shake that out. We're going to do one quick breathing exercise before we go. So glad you joined me today. That was not enough time today. I'm going to rest my hands in my lap and we're going to do some breathing exercises. What I want you to do is kind of follow a slow moving scale, but it's smooth. We're going to go up that scale for 4 inhales, hold it for 4, not a pluggy hold, but just a pause, and then you'll exhale for 4, coming down that scale or ladder or whatever works for you. All right, mentally. So I'm going to close my eyes, feet are level, hips level. Relax the shoulders, but keep the spine extending. Lift it up like you're telescoping up out of the hips. So let's take 4 deep breaths. Here we go. In, 2, 3, 4, and pause. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, and pause. 2, 3, 4, and again. In and hold. Exhale and pause. Inhale, pause, exhale, and pause. Inhale and pause. That's the biggest part of our breath. Exhale and pause. One more set. Inhale. Pause. Relax the shoulders and face. Exhale. And pause. Nice. You can keep going with that or open those eyes. Take a big deep breath with the arms floating up. Lace the fingers at the top. Big stretch. Up and away. Keep the fingers connected and arc the arms down in front of you. Oh, shoulders feel good. Neck feels good. Sit tall and relax. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Have a great day and stay well. Bye-bye.